Hey, how's it going? Thanks a million for checking out the channel. I appreciate your time and I hope you find this video useful. One of the things that I was thinking about recently is learning and how learning is going to become such a superpower in the future where we have to really rapidly understand, make sense of, and then execute quite quickly. Both in work, at home, we are inundated all the time with things vying for our attention that demand or request of us a decision or an action to be taken based on what it's kind of nudging us towards. And so this got me thinking around learning, and kind of at its most fundamental, it's based on a stimulus, what your response is. And if the response is not getting you the result that you want, well then you update the response or iterate or improve that response. And that's where learning comes in. I often think with learning that it's also based on awareness. So if you don't know that you need to improve an area, you won't be able to improve the area potentially. So awareness first around some of these areas where you may need to improve or develop is a first step towards learning or increasing your effectiveness or performance. Some of the things that stand out with learning and some of the things that I've learned about learning is awareness first, so potentially some useful questions. A really good thing to think about is something like the 3 E's. So the 3 E's are experience, exposure, and education, and that's based on the 70-20-10 kind of model of learning. And there's lots of institutes and there's lots of kind of organizations that look at that kind of space, and definitely worth considering. So experience is on the job, testing stuff out, day to day, what are you doing and how are you doing it? How can you improve that, and how can you improve yourself in that experience zone or area, that's 70%? You could probably take on challenging assignments. You could nudge yourself towards something that's difficult, maybe presenting or speaking or speaking on a call. With the exposure piece, it's really the people and who you're going to be connecting with that may have some of that context that you're trying to learn, or that kind of skill or capability that you're trying to learn. So that could be through mentoring, it could be through coaching, it could be through sitting with a peer or a colleague who's already competent at the skill. And then the 10% is the education piece, and typically that's attending potentially leadership programs, watching videos, potentially like this, but that kind of focus on maybe extracting you from the workplace to take the time to reflect, connect with other people, potentially get that exposure with other classmates or participants as well. And so that kind of 10% education piece has its place in every kind of learning plan. But one of the things that I would encourage you to think about is this kind of focus on improving an iteration, the stimulus and the response, and the awareness around what your current response is. There'll be a positive and a negative to that, and it's decreasing the negative is a useful action, and increasing and scaling the positives is a useful action as well. So when you think about the stimulus happening, so stimulus is I have to present on a call to a number of senior individuals. The response may be one of panic, or it may be one of excitement. The excitement will probably come because I'm competent, I've built up skill, I've built up an evidence bank of this has taken place, and I've been quite proficient or competent at this previously. The fear or the anxiety or the stress may come because I don't have that bank of evidence or skill or capability, but that's a useful piece of awareness or information. That's information to nudge you towards learning. Equipping yourself with that kind of 70-20-10 type plan will help you then be able to see, what do I need to practice, or where is it safe to fail presenting or speaking about or sharing what you're going to present on the call to the senior individuals. The 20% could be who's done this previously, who attends the call, who might be useful to connect with to help me get a sense of who's going to be on that call and what they care about. And then the 10% could be checking a video by Vanessa Van Edwards, who has some amazing content on presenting and kind of presence, very useful kind of Udemy courses and that kind of thing. So definitely worth thinking about. So just a couple of kind of things around learning and how I kind of have thought initially about learning. I'd love to do some more videos on learning as I kind of grow this channel, and I would love you to take the time to explore each of them. Some of my thinking at the moment has been around kind of equipping learners to understand how they learn so that they can learn themselves, rather than relying on when the program happens in 6 months' time, then I'll be able to help myself with the conversation I need to have right now. I think that that's less useful, and I'd rather equip people today and now to be able to understand what they need to do so that they're able to execute and perform at a high level. So just some kind of nudges, awareness raising, stimulus and response, some of those type of topics that I'm just kind of leaving in this conversation. I'm really happy then to pick it up in future videos, but hope you found this interesting today. I look forward to hearing the comments or the suggestions or the thoughts based on what I've shared. Thank you again for checking out the channel. Have an amazing day.